All right. And now, before we begin the presentation about LinkedIn, I want to turn the microphone over to Joseph Wise Wiley, who is a member of the LA County Department of Public Health ODR office, and he'll explain what that is in just a moment. Joseph, turning it over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Can everyone, or can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
So yeah, as was mentioned, my name is Joseph, and I am a program manager with the Office of Diversion and Reentry. We are housed under the LA County Department of Health. So I'm here to talk about a brand new program that just launched earlier this year called Sector. It stands for the Skills and Experience for the Careers of Tomorrow. And it's a workforce development job training program that's specifically for anyone who has been impacted by the criminal justice system. So if you are someone who's ever been arrested or convicted of a crime and are looking to gain employment in high growth sectors, in careers that pay above minimum wage and have a really high growth career trajectory, this is a program for you. You do not currently have to be on probation or parole or any kind of supervision. It is just if you have been impacted by the criminal justice system in the past by having an arrest or a conviction. So there are 6 different community-based organizations all throughout Los Angeles County that will be providing the sector services in the sector program. It consists of a job readiness portion, which includes interview, resume, soft skills of that nature, and then we'll have a hard skill component, which will be actual on-the-job training in a variety of high-growth sectors, including everything that you see on your screen: construction, advanced manufacturing, information technology like coding, green jobs like solar panel installation, and you will get certificates of completion or whatever kind of licenses at the end of the trainings. All the trainings will be paid for, and you will also receive a stipend while going through the trainings. So you will get paid to do the trainings, and then we'll get connected to the employment. So if you do want to go to the next portion of the flyer, these are the different providers all throughout LA County with contact information. So if you are interested in this program, or if you know someone who could benefit from this program, you can email me directly, or you can email one of the providers that is listed on the back of the flyer to get more information. And I believe the flyer will be sent out in an email later.
That is correct. That is correct. We will be sending out the flyer by email. And Joseph, if you don't mind posting your email address in the chat in case anybody wants to email you right away. But we'll be sending out the presentation that Anna Sylvia will be doing, the slides, in an email tomorrow, and we'll include this flyer. And then this program will be posted on YouTube probably in a couple of weeks as soon as I can get it edited. All right, let's get on to work ready. Thank you, Joe, for turning us on to the sector program. Hopefully somebody out there can be aided by it.
Thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to leave this flyer on the screen just for the moment. And then in the meantime, I'm going to tell you about Work Ready. So Work Ready is a program that runs from December of last year to December of this year. The purpose of Work Ready is to help people find jobs and to help people who already have jobs improve your work situation or pivot to a more sustainable career track. We're doing that in 3 ways. We're overcoming the digital divide by lending out laptops and Wi-Fi hotspots out of 20 library locations for the 6-week sessions of Work Ready, of which there are 6 throughout the year. We are, during each of these sessions, having live programs just like this one, covering all sorts of work-related topics. So every week of each session, there is a live program. Likewise, we're posting pre-recorded videos about work-related topics on our YouTube channel, and the links to that I will post in the chat soon. Finally, we're adding the latest and greatest of work-related books to our collection. And those are books that are going to be on the shelves of the libraries that you can place on hold and pick up at any of our 80 sidewalk service locations. And their ebooks are available through Overdrive. And in fact, on the Work Ready page right now, there is a new book list that lists all of the books purchased for Work Ready on Overdrive. These are books that, as long as we have available copies, you can check them out right at this moment while you're listening to this presentation even. And I'm sure there are books about LinkedIn, so you can listen to Anna Sylvia's presentation and read a book at the same time. Speaking of LinkedIn and Anna Sylvia's presentation, I think it's time. I am very happy to introduce our speaker for today. Ana Silvia Torres is a librarian with the Adult and Digital Services Division of the library, and she's going to be presenting about LinkedIn. And now I'm going to turn it over to Ana Silvia.
Thanks, Oleg. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Just give me one moment to get set up here. And go. All right. Should be able to see that now. Oleg, if you could let me know if you could see.
There it is.
Okay, and I'm going to switch it over to presenter view. So if you could. Oh no, wait a minute.
Actually,
it's fine now, right?
Yeah, no, the other way. There you go. Perfect.
Okay, perfect. So, all right. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Again, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm very excited to be presenting about LinkedIn. I know that this has been highly requested by our Work Ready participants. And if you're new to Work Ready or LA County Library programs, welcome. To go ahead and get started. So here's our agenda for this evening. We're going to look at what LinkedIn is, explore key features, and then we're going to look at the LinkedIn platform as well. And I'll be showing a few completed profiles as well as an incomplete profile. And then we'll conclude the evening with Q&A. So what is LinkedIn? It launched in 2003. It's an employment-oriented online service. It has both a website and a mobile app, and it's mainly used for professional networking, job postings, and listings. And users are allowed to post resumes and professional work. So it works sort of similar to many social media platforms in that it works with algorithms and it picks up on, instead of likes or comments like YouTube or Instagram, it works with keywords and other relevant content that you'll put on your profiles. And this helps the algorithm pick up your profile so that when job recruiters or HR managers are searching for candidates in your industry, they'll be able to pick up your profile. And we'll go in more depth on keywords in the later half of the presentation. So before we look at some of the benefits of using LinkedIn, I do want to say that LinkedIn can be very overwhelming for anyone, but especially first-time users. As you'll see when we get into the actual platform, that there's a lot going on. It's very busy. So it's very likely that you will get overwhelmed. So my first piece of advice for you would be to take a deep breath and then take your time learning the platform and the different features so that you won't get overwhelmed by it all. And now let's take a look at some of the benefits. So first is that you'll make yourself visible to job recruiters and HR managers, as well as other professionals in your industry. You'll be able to research your industry, make professional connections, search for jobs, and if you are a business owner, you can promote your business and your skills. So it essentially allows you to add additional information about you that a resume or a cover letter wouldn't allow you to do. You can only fit so much within a one-page cover letter or a resume. So you can further market yourself and expand on your skills, prompting recruiters to better find you. And I also want to add that tonight's presentation will be focusing on job seekers. So if you, I'll probably talk about some of the business features as well, but I'll mostly go in depth with the features of the platform that are specific for job seekers. But I do want to mention that there are so many different ways that you can use LinkedIn. If you have your own business, if you're a freelancer, but today we'll be focusing on the job portion of LinkedIn. Some useful tips for using LinkedIn include use industry standard language keywords, which I've already mentioned, use a custom URL, be honest, and take your time. So keywords are important because that's how job recruiters will find your profile. I already alluded a little bit to how the algorithm will pick those up. So you definitely want to do your research on what specifically your industry's keywords are. And then URLs allow you to post that into a job application. If you're emailing someone, you can email your custom link to your profile, and that way they can easily access it. And I've seen nowadays that some cover letters and resumes are also having space that you can include that URL. And then, of course, be honest. Anytime you start an interaction with someone, especially an employer, you definitely want to be upfront and honest about your skills and your experiences. And then a winning profile takes some work. So take your time, go through the features, think about what you want to say in each individual section, and think about how you want to present yourself. And like I said before, there's a lot of features and a lot that goes into a LinkedIn profile. So you definitely want to take your time, spend a few days, and research what you want to talk about. Now let's look at setting up a profile. On the screen right now, I have a screenshot of what a typical profile will look like. At the top here, we have our headline under our photo, and this will allow you to, well, it has your name, your tagline, so to speak, and we'll go a little bit more in depth about what a headline is. Under that, there's the profile sections that allow you to edit the content and add content to your profile. And then before that, there's open to, and this allows you to talk about your job preferences. And I'll also expand on that when we go into the actual platform. And then more next to it allows you to convert your LinkedIn profile into a PDF document, or so that you can send it to someone. And I believe it also allows you to create a resume. And then right under that, we have profile strength. And this is sort of a meter that lets you determine how strong your profile is. And we'll take a look at how this example that I have up front right now is just an example of one in progress. So right now it's showing as intermediate. But when we go into the actual platform, I'll show you that LinkedIn will tell you what you can add to the profile so that it can be stronger. And then under that, there's the about and summary, which is your opportunity to talk about yourself, share your story, and we'll go more in depth about that as well. Now let's look at some of the visual components of your profile. So it's definitely important to include a photo of yourself. Profiles with pictures get about 21 more views and 36 more messages than profiles that don't. So when you're thinking of adding a photo to your profile, you want it to be either professional headshot, field photos, speaking engagements, that it's clear and engaging, and that it has you at the center, and that it's high resolution. So keep your photo professional. Remember that LinkedIn isn't Facebook or Instagram. So exclude photos of your friends, pets, or family members unless it's specific to your industry. If it's not, don't include it. And like I mentioned, it doesn't have to be a headshot. It can be a field photo or a speaking engagement. If you're someone that gives talks, that would be a great photo to add. Think about your industry, the tone of your industry. Would a photo like that be beneficial to your profile? And if you don't have that, then that's perfectly fine as well. Not all of us have field photos, or we work in industries where that would make sense. So a headshot that you can take yourself. Nowadays, our phones, our smartphones have really good camera qualities. So just find a nice clean background, a professional, dress up professional, and just take it yourself and upload it to the site yourself. Just make sure that it is high resolution and that it's clear, and that anyone who comes across your profile can clearly see that that's you. Now, the second visual component of the profile would be the background image. So make sure that it's, well, you don't have to make sure, but usually it's something that's visually appealing. It's something that's relevant to you and your industry. And again, high resolution, similar to your profile picture. So here, for example, I have a picture right behind the person, the profile. They're a chef. And then behind them, I have some macaroons. So it's safe to assume that this person works in the food industry. And then a background image, maybe it's safe to say, or maybe they're just, that's something that they do. They're a pastry chef. These macaroons, maybe they made them themselves. So a job recruiter might be interested to learn more about them based off of their background image, especially if it could be something that they've made themselves. So if you're someone who is in a creative field, you make your own jewelry, or you're a graphic designer, this would also be a great place where you can showcase some of your work. Now, if you're not in any of these industries, if you don't make things or have something to showcase, that's okay too. There's so many different websites. One that I would recommend is Canva. They have free templates that you can add to LinkedIn that you can add just to make your profile a little bit more visually appealing. Now let's get into the text part of your profile, which is the majority of the profile. I've mentioned before when we saw the brief snapshot of the headline, which is right under the photo and the background image. And this the headline is 120 characters, and in that you can provide a sort of a brief snapshot of your professional goals. Here's a great opportunity to use some keywords and descriptors that will boost your profile's visibility, as well as make it more searchable to job recruiters. So an example of that would be literature professor, and then they go on to add New York Times bestselling author, futurist, and fabulous. Now, unless you're in that industry, that might not mean anything to you, but if someone's specifically looking for an author who writes in these genres, then this profile would definitely show up in the job recruiter or the person looking for the author's feed, because they're using those descriptors, they're using those keywords, they're learning what the industry standard words are. If you're not sure where you can find keywords, take a look at some of the industry professionals in your field, the people that are doing really well and are successful. Take a look at what they're using on their profiles, specifically on their headlines, and let that be your model and say, okay, they're using these words. Let me rephrase how I'm marketing myself, or I'm talking about myself, because the headline will default to your career. So you definitely want to add a little bit more to that so that you show a little bit more of who you are. And again, using those keywords. The next part is the summary, which is your professional introduction. Here you can focus on your mission statement, show a little bit of your personality, share your accomplishments, emphasize your skills, and think about the what, why, and a call to action. So what you do, why you do it, and a call to action. How can people reach you if they like what they read or they like your profile? This is the part of your profile that you really want to resonate with the people that read it. Not only is it an opportunity for you to share some of your accomplishments, like I mentioned, but you can share your goals and your aspirations and what you've done for other people that you've worked with, and some of those accomplishments. It's also a great place to include, again, those keywords that I keep talking about. I'll probably talk about them some more throughout the evening, because they're really important to making a winning profile. So make sure that your summary shows how you can help the employer. It's great to show some of your personality and be a bit more creative. This is the part of the profile where a resume or cover letter won't be able to capture you as a person. What have you done? Your personality. Maybe you like storytelling, and it's a great way to start a summary off with a little bit of a story. And you'll see when we go into the profile that for our demo tonight, I started off with a little bit of a story. Maybe that's something you don't feel comfortable doing. That's perfectly fine. There's so many different ways that you can talk about yourself. And that's why I say take your time to figure out what you want to talk about. And then there are other teachers out there that really show you how to hone in on your skills and market yourself in this section. And then lastly, on summary is don't don't write too much. Keep it brief. Remember that job recruiters are really busy on top of looking at LinkedIn profiles. They're looking at applications and reading resumes and cover letters. So I would say maybe 3, 4 paragraphs max. Maybe you'll find teachers that recommend other things, but I would say try to be as concise and brief as you can. Next portion would be your professional work. And this is one of my favorite features of LinkedIn because it definitely allows you to shine, especially if you've done a lot of work, presentations, articles. It's your chance to show your professional portfolio. So you can show your work, and that includes presentations, articles, anything that you've done, videos, you can show it. And then when we go into the LinkedIn profiles, you can see what I mean. But it's definitely a chance for you to expand a little bit more. In interviews or resumes, cover letters, you can talk about what you've done, but it's not quite the same as being able to show people. Next, we have our experience portion of the profiles. And this is really important too, because here you can talk about what you've done, what you've learned, what you can offer someone, a company. It's adding any relevant work and educational experience. This allows you to make connections with old colleagues or classmates, and you never know where an old colleague or classmate can get you, especially if you're looking for a job, someone you went to college with, a connection, maybe you've lost touch. When you add your education, it links you into your school's alumni network, and that's how you're able to tap into those old classmates as well as colleagues for work experience. So you want to include skills when you're thinking about work experience, skills that you've done, accomplishments, professional associations, and then volunteer experiences that relate to your goals. So it's sort of similar, this part is sort of similar to a resume. However, you can expand on it more than you would a resume. When adding information, think about, aside from the additional dates, think about, as I mentioned, any of the associations or clubs that you are a part of that directly reflect sort of the work that you're involved in now. Maybe you were a part of a club that sort of, maybe a business club or a sales club, marketing, anything like that that you may be a part of. And then when you're thinking about your work experience, think about how you helped the company that you were a part of. Maybe you're thinking, should I add all of my work experience? I would say think about the things that again align with your mission or your goals. Or maybe if you're a recent college graduate, you don't have a lot of experience with your current industry, but think about the jobs that you came out of or any volunteer experiences that you can add that show that you picked up these skills along the way. Maybe that's customer service. Maybe you worked at a restaurant when you were in college and you helped your restaurant get on food delivery apps and that increased the profit to 10%, or that just increased the client base. Think about those things. There's so many ways that sometimes we discount our old experiences, but there's so many ways that we can work those into our current goals. So think about that. And then lastly, with volunteer experiences, are any of those related to what you're doing now, or could they show you as a well-rounded person? Maybe that's just another way. Maybe it doesn't have anything to do with what you're currently doing, but it's a great way for employers to see what you're passionate about. If you volunteer just because you really like this organization, it's something that you're passionate about, it's an opportunity to show that to an employer. And then customize your profile. So I already mentioned the URL, and I'll show you how you can do that. But definitely you want to have a custom URL. That way, when you share it with someone, they can easily find your profile. And then you want to set up privacy settings if that's important to you, which is important to a lot of us nowadays, privacy on the internet. And I will go through that as well. And then you can update your career preferences. So you're able to show people what exactly the job recruiters, you're able to exactly show them what you're interested in a job. What title are you looking for? What pay? What benefits matter to you? What's your schedule like? So these are all customized features that you can add to your profile. And then here are a few extras. I won't go in detail with all of these out of this list. The only one that we'll really go in detail with is the job search. But I do want to mention that you can add certificates, languages, skills, recommendations. You can take assessments, join groups. That's really important if you are trying to grow your network. Definitely take advantage of LinkedIn's group feature. And then you can search for jobs, create job alerts, follow companies so you can see when they post jobs. And that's the one that I mentioned that we'll go in more detail with. But definitely explore these features. Like I said, we don't, for time's sake, we don't have the chance to go through all of them today, but they are really good features to add to your profile. For example, recommendations. That's a great opportunity for a former colleague to testify to your work ethic and to be able to include that into your profile. So when job recruiters are looking at your profile, again, a resume or a cover letter won't show what your old boss thought of you. But if you can get your old boss to say, this person was great, they completed all their tasks, they never complained, it was a pleasure working with them, that's a big endorsement, and that would definitely make a job recruiter be interested in getting to know you a little bit more and starting a conversation with you. And then I definitely want to let you know, if you don't already know, about lynda.com. As I said, this presentation covers LinkedIn for job seekers, but if you're looking for more content to build your profile and a more in-depth look at certain sections that you want to include, there's so many different classes that you can take on lynda.com, which was bought out by LinkedIn Learning. Now, LinkedIn also has their learning platform. And now you'll see what lynda.com will say. I believe it says by LinkedIn, or it will let you know for sure that LinkedIn has acquired it. But those courses that are on LinkedIn Learning that you have to pay for, they are 100% free with your LA County Library card. So I know that they have LinkedIn for recent graduates, LinkedIn for business owners, and all sorts of different classes that will tailor more to what you're looking for, and they'll definitely be able to go more in depth than we are able to tonight. This is an introductory course, and it's geared specifically for job seekers. So definitely take advantage of that resource that we have available for you. So now we are going to switch gears a little bit. So give me one moment to get our second portion of our program up tonight. Okay, and please let us know if you cannot see my screen, but you should be seeing the LinkedIn platform, specifically the feed.
Yes, everything's showing up perfectly.
Okay, great. So here is our LinkedIn feed. And as I mentioned, it is very busy, as you can tell. So I understand if anyone's feeling overwhelmed right now. I know this overwhelms me, but this is why I say take your time and go through everything. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the profile. And this should look familiar to you because this is our demo profile that we saw a few snapshots of earlier. Before we go through the different profile features, let me show you how you can customize your URL. So there's two ways of getting to your profile. One is here at the very top in the avatar where it says Me. If you were to click on that, you can see view profile as well as account features, and then you can manage post and activity, job postings account, and sign out. So you can click, you could click on that from your feed, or you could click the left-hand side, which let me switch gears a little bit, right over here. You can click that as well, and it'll take you to where we were just at, which is your profile. Now, to add your URL, you can go over here to the right-hand side where it says Edit, Public Profile, and URL. And then you click on that, and you're able to see your public profile settings. The very first one is Edit Your Custom URL. If you click on the pencil icon right next to that, your LinkedIn URL, you can write it yourself. Now, I've just put Chef M, and that's our demo chef for the night. We're going to be helping them set up their profile. And of course, it would make sense for you to add your name. If you have a common name, it might be taken. And in that case, you can add a symbol or a number or anything that could make it more unique to you. And then once you've done that, you can save it. And then if you go further down, here's edit content, which you can also do straight from your profile, which is what we'll be doing tonight. And then further down is edit visibility. And here's your privacy settings. So mine is our profile tonight is private. since it's not a real person, it's a demo. I don't need anybody to find it. But if I did, I would unselect off and select on. And then here you can see that you can specifically say what you want, or you can put those features on. So if you want your profile photo to only be shown to first degree connections, so only people that you know, then you can select first degree. Or your network, which means anybody in your network, anybody that knows people that you know, only to LinkedIn members or to public. And then further down, there's all of the other features that you can make available by showing or not showing. And then lastly, because I'm sure someone will see this and be curious about it, is the public profile badge. And this is if you want to add your LinkedIn badge on if you have a blog or a website so that people can be directed to your profile. So I'll scroll back up here, put it back to private, and let's go back to our profile. So here's Chef M. This is our chef of the evening. They are trying to find a job in Los Angeles. So they started their LinkedIn profile and they've added a few things to it. So here is our background image, which we saw earlier in the evening, their profile picture is them cooking, and their name and location. Now, right under that, there's open to. Now, this allows you to set up your job preferences. So if you were to click on finding a new job, and then right here, you can specify what you want. So Chef M could say that she just wants to be a chef or a sous chef, the pay, benefits, all sorts of different things that you can specify what you want so that job recruiters, when they find your profile, they'll know what you're looking for as well. And then next to that, we have our profile sections, which I touched on earlier. And that is your intro, your about, and all of these different fields. If you wanted to add recommendations, that would be under additional information, accomplishment skills. So here's where you're going to spend a lot of time because as you build your profile, you'll be going through these individual features. So as I said, unfortunately, we can't go in depth with each one, but this is where you'll be able to find them. And then right next to that is more in case you wanted to build a resume, save this as a PDF, or share profile in a message. So let's move on. Now to profile strength. Right now this profile is set to intermediate, but if I wanted this to be strong, LinkedIn gives you recommendations. If you click on the arrow right here at the top right of this section, it would tell me what I should add to make it stronger. So right now I don't have education. Let's see what it does if I add an education. So I know that here's a culinary school. Let's see what that does now. Okay. Should let me, okay. So then I'll add the year. No, that's too late. So as you can see, it'll have you add the year so that it can plug into the network that you went to. And if anybody's looking for that as well. And then it's saving it to our profile now. Okay, give it a moment. The joys of technology. Okay, let's see if we can refresh this.
And so, do you want to answer a question while
Sure.
this is going on? Here, let me through. Oh, something just happened. So a question from a user. Once we input all of our information, will there be a live representation that will live representative that will contact us and help us get a job, or will we have to look for one? Will we have to be the one to look for jobs on our own?
So you can most likely you will have to be searching for jobs. However, job recruiters can still contact you if they stumble upon your profile. they will send you messages or figure out or contact you if you've set a call to action on your profile. It depends for different people. I've heard people say, I've had my profile up and no one ever contacts me, but they found jobs through searching on the profile. And then I've had people say, yeah, I've been contacted and I've been in contact with job recruiters. So it depends. It's not, it's definitely a possibility to be contacted by someone. Yeah. Good question. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so I don't think it went through because it's still showing me intermediate, but it's okay. I think I'm hoping that you all were able to at least see that it should have been able to do that. And then if you go down next to under the profile strength, there's your about section. So if you were to click on the pencil icon, you would be able to see, as I said before, I wrote a little story for Chef M about how they got started or decided that they wanted to be a chef. And as I said, you don't have to write stories. We're not going to go in detail about how you should write. There's plenty of courses on that or information on that on Linda, I should say. But there's other ways of writing about yourself without telling a story is what I'm getting at. And then your call to action. Think I would make a great chef? I'd love to hear from you. And of course, your industry you might think something is better for you and, obviously customize it. But here is where you would write that in-depth summary that we talked about earlier. Okay, and then right under that is if we had featured work to show, we could add that right here. So documents, any presentations that we've done, you could add that here. And then your dashboard, which would show you search appearances. And there are some components that you would only be able to access for the premium. I believe you can see who viewed your profile, but if you just have the basic version, I don't think it would show you. It would just show you how many people. And then activity, this is if you've for anything that you've shared or posted. And then your experiences. So here's Chef M added their experience working at Kitchen House, and then they talked about how they helped their menu saw 20% profit growth. So that's what I was talking about earlier. When you're thinking about your work experience, think about the different experiences that you've done so that you can that will show how you've helped the company out and any of the accomplishments that you're proud of as well. So I don't think it saved the educational experience, but it should be around the experience portion of the profile. So I mean, scroll back up. And I think I saw someone say they couldn't find the profile strength. So it's right here next to sort of the introductory, the headline part of the profile.
And Sylvia,
So,
actually, sorry to interrupt. Somebody actually had Kim, one of our attendees, actually mentioned that once you have filled up your meter, your strength meter, you'll receive an all-star profile rating. In that case, it won't show up again.
oh, okay. Very good to know. I guess I never noticed that before because I've been working on this one so much. But now that I think about it, my personal one doesn't have that. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. Okay, so that is what I wanted to talk about with your profile. So like I said before, take your time when you're thinking about what you want to add to the profile. Each section is going to require some dedication and some reflection on your part. This is just an overview of how to get there. Now we're going to go into the job seeking portion of the site. So the first thing we want to do is there's a search bar right up at the top where you can search for jobs, but I would recommend because the search bar also will show you a lot of different things on the site, such as groups and all sorts of things. As we saw, LinkedIn is very busy. So we want to specify that we want to look for jobs. So and here's the jobs icon at the top. So you want to click on that. And then here is a job search feature that is specifically for jobs. And if you were to scroll down, it would have some recommended for you. So LinkedIn has sort of figured out that this profile is a chef, and then it's selected job opportunities that Chef M might be interested in. So let's see what would happen if we actually looked for chef jobs. here in LA. So chef, let's type Los Angeles. See what happens. Okay, so to the left-hand side, you'll be able to see that there are various different jobs, and it'll tell you if it's actively recruiting, the company, how many applicants have applied for, whether it's an easy application that you can simply apply with your LinkedIn profile. By that, I mean that you can send that to the job, the company. And if you wanted to specify or go, maybe you want something that was posted a few hours ago, today, last week, there's some great filters up at the top right here. So right now our jobs would show up under the search feature, but if you wanted to change that, here's where you could. We'll keep it at jobs for our purposes. If you want something that is a little bit more current, then you can go to the past 24 hours and it'll show you jobs that were just posted within the last 24 hours. You can also do that for experience level, your entry level, all the way up to executive, different companies, the job type, whether you're looking for full-time, part-time, remote work, if you're specifically looking for remote work. If you want an easy application or apply with LinkedIn, you can specify that as well. For most instances, if you don't have this, it might take you outside of LinkedIn to the company's website or whatever third-party website that they're using for their application. And here, as you can see, this little arrow next to apply usually will mean that it'll take you out. You also have the option of saving this job. If you're not ready to apply for it just yet, you can save it and it'll save to your job, to your profile. And then there are some more filters right here at the right-hand side that you can also include in your job search. So just take a look at some of those. So some companies, where specifically in Los Angeles you are interested in working in. So definitely take advantage of those filters if your initial search is a little too busy. And then I want to show you how you can create a job alert, and this will send you job alerts to your email or notify you every time you log into LinkedIn about jobs specifically that you're looking for. So if you can see here under jobs, right here under the filters, there is job alerts. So you click on, and then here it should say chef. Let me see. I don't think the initial search went through, but it should be the title that you're specifically looking for. And then it'll email you or notify you or both about chef jobs within the Los Angeles area. And then you can check off if you want them daily or weekly, and if you want them sent to you by email, notification, or both. So you can save that, and then you'll get jobs sent to you. So you don't have to worry about logging in every single day. You still might want to, just because sometimes those job alerts might not show you everything, but that's a great way for you to still be able to see jobs. Another way that you can set up a job alert is, let's say that you are really, really interested in working for a specific company. You can go onto their profile. Most companies nowadays will have LinkedIn profiles, and then you can follow them, which looks really good as well for job recruiters of that company. If they were to see that you're following them and then you apply, that already shows interest. But under their tabs, they have a jobs tab. So you can click on that and it'll show you the jobs that they've posted. For example, this company's posted jobs within the last 2 hours. So you're able to apply to those jobs as well. And if, let's say, they don't have any jobs open, you can create a job alert with them as well and specify the title that you're looking for and the location, create a job alert, and you'll get emailed every time the company posts jobs. I would also recommend following them, because if you follow them, all of their information, anything that they share, any post will show up on your feed. And that's also a great way to stay up with the company. So for interviews, you can talk about some of the things that you've learned about them, and that'll also impress the job recruiters because they'll see that you do care about the company and you have been up to date on anything on the news that they've shared. So lastly, before we go into Q&A, I do want to show you those profiles that I mentioned earlier about fully completed profiles. So here is one. This is her name is Lauren Jolda, and she is a great LinkedIn teacher. I believe she works with LinkedIn, but she has courses on lynda.com that I would definitely recommend taking if you want more information because she goes in depth with the certain features on LinkedIn that I only briefly mentioned today. And you can see her headline, and then she has her about section, which is nice and clean. It looks like she's taken the time to do it really well. And then those featured works that I mentioned. So she's created a featured section here that we're able to see some of her work that she's done, some articles that she's done. Here's a course that she has on LinkedIn Learning. It's also on Lynda. And if you have any of that to add to your profile, look how great it looks. People are able to immediately click on your work to see for themselves. And then I'll just briefly go over what it looks like when you have some activity, some experience. You're also able to add a work that you've done to the experience. I don't think I mentioned that before, but you're able to do that as well. And I'm going quickly through this, but just want to show you education. This is what it should have looked like or should look like when you add it. And then if you have some information to add about that, definitely add that. Volunteer experience, some skills and endorsements. So definitely add those as well. And then some recommendations from people that are able to attest to her work ethic. And then lastly, for example, if you are going to switch up to a different profile, but if you're wondering, how can I figure out what I should include? As I said before, look at industry professionals. So the demo participant that we had today was a chef. So if Chef M wanted to know what industry keywords were being used, they could look at someone really successful in their industry and see what kind of keywords are they using, what experiences are they talking about, and just let people within your industry, your colleagues, your peers, inspire you as you're working on your own profile. So just take a look at here, owner, chef. So definitely Chef M could take a look at this as they're piecing together their profile. And with that, that concludes my the presentation portion of tonight. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that this was helpful to you. And now I will answer as many questions as we're able to and to the best of my ability.
Thanks, Anna Sylvia. That was somebody just posted, "Oh my God, this was great." And I agree. You gave so much information. I think you gave people a real nice start for LinkedIn. And it's like it's exactly like you said, it's so complicated. Like, I haven't used LinkedIn for a few years, and I remember you showed me the screen and I was like, "Wow, that is there's a lot there. There's definitely a lot to do on LinkedIn." So let's get into some of these questions.
Okay.
Um, so the first question is, if somebody's trying to change careers, um, I may need to accept a job in my previous career, but I'm wanting to look for a job in my new career, in which I have a graduate degree but no related experience. It almost feels as if one would need two separate LinkedIn profiles in this case. Um, what do you think?
I'm not sure if you would need two, because there's definitely ways that you can expand on your experiences. So if you're looking for a different career path, then you can explore maybe joining some groups about and maybe talk to the people within that group. That's one of the things that LinkedIn is really great for. And I'm sure that there are things within your current profession that you could use and market for your new career path. You might be surprised nowadays, so many things overlap that you can definitely use those experiences. So I would stick with one. I mean, feel whatever you feel comfortable with, but I would stick with one and try to see how I could use those previous skills for my new career path.
Thanks, Anna Sylvia. So the next two questions have are sort of related to privacy. The first one is if I post my resume, who can see it? I don't want my former supervisors to see it.
Yeah, I believe there are privacy settings that you can. I'm not sure if I don't think I saw that on there. Um, but yeah, that's definitely something you want to consider if you're looking for new jobs. You don't want your current boss to see, but um, I believe that there are privacy settings for that specifically about who you can see. So I would say go through the different privacy settings and see if you find that specific one. And then LinkedIn has great help features as well. So definitely go through their features to see they're constantly updating. That's another thing. So take a look at their frequently asked questions or their security questions. But that should be something that it's a secure issue. It's an issue of security. So I'm sure that they have thought of that.
That's a big deal these days. So I'm sure that, yeah, like you said, within the settings, they must have uh, options for who can see the presentation, or who can see, I should say, the profiles. So the next question is about the people also viewed section. This questioner wondered if the people who are in that people also viewed section might be the people who have viewed your profile but are not shown in your dashboard. Do you know if there's any overlap there?
The people that have viewed your
Yeah, there's
so
a section on people also viewed. So,
mhm.
but this person was wondering if that overlaps with the section on people who viewed your profile.
Oh, I see on the dashboard where it shows you
Hmm.
who viewed you.
Yes.
Um, that is the premium feature that I've never really explored, to be honest with you. Um, so it could overlap. I'm honestly not quite sure about that one. That would be a premium feature. See if I can find some information related to that, if it overlaps.
So I'm just going to answer a question really quickly here. There's somebody posted that somebody's new to technology. Is there any fee to create an account on LinkedIn? And the answer to that is no, there isn't a fee. LinkedIn is free, but they do have, like Anastasia was saying, a premium upgrade so that it gives you some more features on LinkedIn. So that, for example, you can see exactly who viewed your profile. So
Mhm.
let's see about some of these other questions here. We got some really good questions. So we've got a question here. Any LinkedIn tips for someone looking for a career change?
Yeah, I would definitely say to look at the different the careers that are open. Use that job feature that I showed you to look at the careers, the jobs that are being posted in that industry, and then see what they're asking for, and see if you have any of those skills. And if you don't, then try to take some courses. Like we mentioned lynda.com earlier. That's a really great way that you can learn some skills. They have everything from web developing to writing resumes to cover letters, to grammar to email etiquette. So that's definitely a way that you can take a look at the job applications of the industry that you're interested in, and then see what you need to what skills you or qualifications are asking for that you don't have, and try to build that up. Also, again, joining groups is a great way that you can get a feel for industry, language, what's going on in that industry to educate yourself.
Anna Sylvia, in terms of groups, do you, in order to join a group, do you just find the group and is there like a join button that you press?
Yeah. Yes,
Eh,
you have to request to join.
Okay, so then the administrator or something will see your account and add you. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I also want to add to the last question is that you can follow companies and see their news as well. So that's another great way to get familiar with the industry that you want to be a part of.
Somebody asked a question whether this presentation will be made available to watch later, and yes, indeed. The slides will be sent out tomorrow, and then the presentation itself will be put on our YouTube channel, and that'll be available in a week or two. So let's get to some other questions here. Um, so what's the difference between uh, adding a PDF resume and adding it to the experience section in the profile?
Well, your resume is your resume. So LinkedIn is not replacing your resume. It's you still have to have a one. Your experience section just allows you to add to that section of your profile, and it allows you to expand a little bit more on and also in a different way. You can, instead of bullet points of what you've done, which is typical for resumes, you can expand a little bit more on what you've done, and add more content as well. Oftentimes resumes are very short, page, two tops. And so definitely with LinkedIn, it's not replacing your resume, but it allows you to expand on it. Hope that makes sense.
That definitely does make sense. So we're almost at 8 o'clock. So let's do just a couple of more questions and then we'll call it an evening. So there's a question about that I wanted to cover here. How does LinkedIn relate to Indeed.com, Monster, or the application for LA County? And then also just where does it fit within all of that kind of job seeking website? So does LinkedIn pull in uh, job postings from Indeed? Or are there their own job postings? If you post in one of them, do you need to post in LinkedIn also? Um, how does that work?
So, well, Indeed, all of those are their own sites. So I don't believe that LinkedIn would pull from those specific sites, but you probably will find similar job or the same job posting, because oftentimes job companies, recruiters will post on multiple sites. So you might find the same jobs that are also on LinkedIn. I'm not sure that they're exactly pulling them from them, or perhaps someone is. I'm not sure. It really just depends on the company, because I'm not sure if anyone saw, but you're able to job recruiters, companies, they're able to post job postings to LinkedIn. So they might be themselves posting it to multiple sites. So as far as how it fits into all of that, it's well, it's a social network platform that allows you to communicate with others as well as job recruiters, and you can search for jobs. And it's a really, really popular site. I mean, it's been around for since 2003, but I think within the last years, it's really gained popularity in terms of networking and helping you find your job and build your experiences and putting them all in one place that's easy for job recruiters to find them and take a look at what you've done and your experiences.
Nice. So a couple of people have asked the next question. This is something that comes up at a lot of our programs because it's such an important and oft discussed topic. Career gaps. So there are people who are listening now who have not been working for the last few years for a variety of reasons. How do you navigate that when you've set up your LinkedIn profile?
Well, with any career gap, there's a reasons why you took those career gaps. Now, how much you share is definitely up to you. Job recruiters will definitely be curious or ask about it. And you can talk about maybe you took some time off to raise your children, or to take care for a sick parent, or you yourself maybe had a personal situation that you needed to take time off for. Whatever that may be, try to reflect on what you did during that time that was still building up your skills in some way. Maybe you weren't working for a paycheck, but maybe you were volunteering, or when you were taking care of your children or whoever, you learned some responsibility skills. You learned how to multitask, you learned how to schedule, whatever it is. I'm sure that there's something that you did during that period that helped build you up, your character or your job skills in any way, shape, or form. Anything that you do in your life is going to help build experience. So reflect on what you learned during that period and talk about it. I had to take some time off for this, or if you're not comfortable sharing, just say I had to take some time off for personal reasons. But while I did that, I was volunteering. While I did that, I took classes to learn how to set up email, or learn how to use Google, all sorts of different things. There's so much that you could still do from home. So definitely reflect on that.
All right, last question. So this question is about uh, targeting your profile for jobs that are different from ones that you may have had in the past. So the question is, I had a very senior job title in my last position, but I'm looking at jobs with various titles equal and lower than before. I'm worried that including that senior job title will eliminate me from more junior jobs. Can I leave job titles out of the experience section?
That's a good question. I'm not I mean your experiences. So at the end of the day, I always say do what makes you feel comfortable, but think about the jobs that you've done and how they can work for what you're trying to do now. So if that job allows you to talk about those things, I would say add it because it's a part of what you've done and there's something that you can do. And remember, I said be honest about what you've done, and there's always ways that you can work your past experiences into your current one. Um, but yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, if you feel that it could hurt you, um, do some research about that. There's definitely some job coaches that could help you out. There's a lot of free content out there that would be able to elaborate more from job career coaches that would probably give you a better answer. Mine's is that I feel that everything that we've done can in some way, shape, or form add to our profile strength.
And we've had actually a couple of really useful suggestions here in the chat. Um, One person says include in the summary something that speaks to the lower level role that you're interested in. Thanks, Denise. And then Kim says, I've heard another LinkedIn expert suggest listing multiple titles you would consider in your headline.
Yeah, those are really
Good
good,
advice.
yeah, good advice. Thank you for sharing.
And with that, once again, thank you, Anna Sylvia. A lot of people in the chat are posting, great job. And I agree. And as a person who doesn't have an account, I learned a lot from this presentation. Uh, Thanks everybody for sticking with us this evening, and stay safe and have a good night.